Hello and welcome to another episode of Reviews on the Couch, where we discuss movies, how they made us feel, and lessons we can pick from them. My name is Elsie Godwin. If this is your first time of visiting this channel, kindly subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below and also hit the bell button so you get notified each time there is a new content. Thank you. On this episode of Reviews on the Couch, we are discussing a 2021 Nollywood movie titled Lockdown. Lockdown is showing currently across cinemas in Nigeria, and of course is expected to get on Netflix after making its rounds in the cinema. A quick search on Google describes the movie as a mystery psychological thriller. Okay. I reserve my comments. And the synopsis reads: after a mysterious new virus enters the country, a group of unsuspecting citizens find themselves locked inside a hospital together for an isolation period of 21 days. Joining me on this episode of Reviews on the Couch to discuss this movie Lockdown is a YouTuber, a photographer, and also a movie reviewer whose name is EniolaTito Abumere. Also will be joined by Precious Abogu, who is popularly known as Mama Zeus. She's a film reporter, film critic, and has done a lot in the movie review space and of course the entertainment industry. So they'll be joining me right after this break. Thank you guys for joining me on this episode of Reviews on the Couch. Of course, I have Eniola and I have Mama Zeus, like I already mentioned. We're discussing Lockdown, and I think it was too long. I also have a lot of things I have thoughts, but like I always do, I'd rather let my guests do the justice and tell me how they felt watching it. Precious, hi.
Hi. Hi.
When you saw the movie, how did you feel, and how would you rate the movie?
Okay. Without any form of bias, when I saw the movie, I sort of figured out what they were trying to do, what they were trying to achieve. And for me, it was a whole lot of the Stella Davos story when we had the Ebola breakout. And I saw that was the angle the story was trying to take. And based on that story, the story part of it, they tried to do a good job, although there were some flunks here and there. So some parts I didn't understand or didn't agree with, and it wasn't quite professionally done well also. So I had a number of issues, but it was a good story. We saw the point that they were trying to push. It was a good story.
Okay, you saw the point and it makes it a good story. But we are coming back to this number of things that you saw. We are definitely coming back. But Tito, how did you feel about the movie in general?
I enjoyed it. I felt it was a bit different. I agree with Precious in the sense that I saw a few production flaws here and there, but that didn't stop me from enjoying the movie. What I liked about it was the fact that it was ambitious. I mean, they shot that film, I think, in December, shortly after NSARS, and we're still very much within the whole lockdown, state of mind, so to speak. So for them to have pulled it off was good, and was a different kind of movie. I enjoyed it. It captivated me. It held my attention. It was long, but it held my attention. And actually, I didn't finish it when I went for the premiere, so I had to go back another time to watch like the final 1 hour of the movie.
One of the many things I spotted was the fact that if they were trying to if the film they were trying to draw inspiration, which they were, because it was very obvious, there were a lot of issues that the film spotted, i.e. there was this in the account of Stella Davos experience. At the time, we were not as a country, health wise, we were not prepared for a virus as disastrous as the Ebola virus. And we didn't have things like, we didn't really understand, our healthcare workers didn't understand PPEs and protective gears and all of that. But you see in the film that they quite understood the level of
but sorry
of
to cut you here. I think they were trying to mirror coronavirus, not Ebola.
So I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
So even if they are trying to mirror coronavirus, they had from when the doctor, I'm trying to remember her name, the character.
Is it Dr. Njok or something?
Yeah, Dr. Njoko, the character she played, you could see from when she discovers the virus that she knew how catastrophic it was, right? But she made no attempt to actually protect herself. There was this scene where she goes in to meet the patient, and she gets physical with the patient when she tries to stop the patient from leaving the hospital. And it's similar to what happened with Dr. Stella Adedavo, where the account was there was a time she had to physically try to stop the Liberian patient from exiting the hospital. At that time, they were new, the virus was new to them. They didn't know how disastrous it could be. But in this case, we could tell that she knew how disastrous. And you spot that even after she was that physical with the patient, she didn't go into any form of isolation. She was still interacting with other characters in the movie. She didn't go into isolation until towards the end of the film, which was ridiculous because you are that knowledgeable. You are the only person who has that much knowledge about the virus. You have gotten into such close proximity with a carrier. You should automatically know that you go into isolation, but she does not. What they tried to do with the VFX effect, we know that the hospital shot was taken from the Lekki hospital. What's the name of that hospital again? Reddington Hospital. But they really struggled with maintaining the effect. So sometimes you see the actual Reddington Hospital, Lekki, sometimes you wouldn't. And in between, they try to make cinematography look like it was straight from a gospel music video. So you see a lot of slow motion that was honestly unnecessary, because I'm wondering what this slow motion effects were. What was the purpose of the slow motion effects? I.e., when Josh Too Funny characters, what's the man's name again?
Lucky?
Josh Too
No,
Funny's father.
his
No,
dad
not
anyway.
Funny, the father.
All right.
When
I can't
they're
remember the name
going
of
to
father.
fight the police, when they're going to attack the police, there was this unnecessary slow motion effect, and I'm wondering, what's the point? Why do we have this effect here and there unnecessarily? So there are a number of issues I had with the film, even with the characters, and how they present, how the actors presented their characters. I personally think that Sola Sobowale is an amazing actress and she's a mother figure, but I don't understand why she constantly has to scream in every character that she portrays. It is, I would like to call right now, I tag her the screaming actress, because there is no film that I've seen Shola in recent times that she isn't screaming her lungs out, and I'm wondering,
I guess
what's the
she's
point?
portraying the typical Yoruba party woman then.
And
Don't they
that
scream? They do.
representation over time makes it appear as though she really can't act. She maxes her performance with the screaming, because you can have an over enthusiastic Yoruba mother, but who isn't scream but actually reading performing her lines in a way that will capture your you
Capture the
find yourself,
emotions.
you will capture your emotions. I mean, thank you. But constantly, she screams. And when you scream, two things: either that's your style of acting, or they are constantly putting you in these roles where you are screaming. I don't know which one it is, but over time, it gets exhausting to see.
Daughter is getting married. Everybody, get in! He's mad.
Yeah, so the production issues, like Precious mentioned, that's showing Reddington Hospital. That happened several times. I noticed it as well. Also on the news, when they were reporting the virus, they were showing different news station channels. All of them had the same lower third scrolling at the bottom, and it read something about Kobe Bryant, plane crash, something or the other. I saw it the first time and the second time. The second time I actually took a picture. So that was a lapse on, the production and continuity. I mean, there were a number of them. I've forgotten them. Also, when Josh Too Funny hit his hand on the fan, at the beginning. At first, you don't see any wound. But all of a sudden, when he was at the pharmacy or the chemist, you see this huge gaping wound with some pretty bad VFX makeup. It wasn't the best. So yeah, so that
some
was
very
another
unbelievable wound from that heat
from
we
a
saw.
fan.
Right? I don't know.
It was a lot. And I want to talk about Sola Sobowale really quickly, and I'll just end it there. To jump up, to piggyback off what Precious said. Precious, I get you, but I think it's these filmmakers, when they see a character in a movie, or an actor playing a character in a movie, and that movie was a big hit, or that character was a big hit, other filmmakers will hire that actor to just copy and paste that character in other movies. We see it a lot with Brother Shaggy. I also said in my review that I see it a lot with Inidima's character. In most of her movies, Inidima is like a victim. She's crying over one thing or the other, but that wasn't the case, luckily, in this movie. So that's the thing with Nollywood. When they see you do a good character in a movie, and either that character is a big hit or that movie is a big hit, other filmmakers would call you and say, please, that's what you gave them in that film. Please give us to in this other film. And the actor
and it's what they are doing with Deyemi Okolanwo too, which is Foco Bombastic or what is it called? And
and the Odukoya guy, But there are so many of them, and these people have bills to pay. So what can they do? But yeah, so those are the flaws I noticed.
I think that for somebody like Shola, who we like to call a legend in the industry, I think she's at that phase in her career where she can actually say, no, I want to play characters that don't portray me like this. Because if you've done something over and over again, I don't think it will come as a surprise to you that you are what's it called?
Getting the same role.
You understand? And you can and from people who have worked with her, I hear she has this presence. When she comes on set, she has a presence and people sort of revere her. So you can actually say, no, how about I portray this character in a way that is not as similar as the ones I have? So it's not just the filmmakers in this place. Sometimes the actors are quite lazy. They don't want to do anything different. Trust me, they don't want to do anything different.
What if like Eniola says is part of the money as well? We have bills to pay.
But that's the point. You can understand it with the maybe C-rated actors or the D-rated actors, but not with the A-listers, because the A-listers, you see them as sort of
they have the power to negotiate.
They have the power to negotiate. They have the power to say, how about you give me a character? How about I read for a character that is this way? Or even when you give me that character to play, how about I play this character slightly different? And they will listen to them because, guess what? We do a lot of respect. My mommy, Egbomi in the industry, there's a whole lot of that.
It's not even about respect. I think when it comes to art and creation of content, it's always important to listen to everybody involved. Yes, you've done your job as a writer and a producer, and you are the creative director. You know where it's supposed to go. But when you're also working with an art, this is not for someone who is not invested in acting or understand what they're doing. It is also important to hear what they have to say. Right, and also pick from their own creativity as well to see how it can get better. So I get what you're trying to say.
Some of these directors that call themselves directors, but they don't even know what the hell they are doing. They are doing on set. Are those the same ones you're talking about?
Well, I'm talking about the ones that know what they are doing on set and what creativity is about.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
Precious woke up and chose violence.
No, but really, on this show, I agree to come on this show in spite of everything that I have going on because it was a real, would I call it traumatic? I wouldn't call it traumatic because it was too small to be traumatic. I had a big issue with the director of the film, who has been going on interviews saying that my review was sponsored, blah 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 blah. And I'm wondering, this is 2021. Even if you do not attend international festivals or you've never interacted with filmmakers from the outside world, you should know that film critiquing is a huge part of the filmmaking industry. So if I come up with a review and it does not reflect what you want it to reflect, at least you can just take the rice from it and discard the beans. But this man actually got into my DM. He found me from the blues, entered my DM and started to threaten me. It was
Oh
that
wow.
crazy. Yes, and I'm wondering, what did I even say in the review that was a lie? Enough for you to accuse me of getting paid to write a negative review about your film. These people are not as
Okay,
educated or
let me even
informed
ask you
as they
too.
think
Let
they
me
are.
ask you too. Because yes, I make money from the industry, but not from movie Nollywood per se. I mean, I love these conversations, and that's why I'm having it, right? But do you think we're at that point where anybody will actually sit down and say there is a movie going to the cinema or called Lockdown, and I'm coming to pay you to write something negative about a movie? Do you think people would actually do that
It only
in
comes, this
in the entertainment
conversation
industry
comes,
of now?
it comes from people who are used to get paying people to do positive stuff for them, right? So if
Oh.
you're used to paying people to tell you you have done something good when you have done something horrible, it only makes sense that somebody else would do the same, right? So maybe
Hmm.
he's in the habit of paying people to talk nasty about others. But
Hmm.
clearly the bottom root is we have a lot of the industry allows a lot of unskilled people, a lot of uneducated people who are in it for whatever reason they have. So when somebody is not just unskilled but uneducated, and not just uneducated but unaware of the happenings of the outside world, the slightest form of perceived disrespect hits them harder than
Hmm.
it would somebody who has, because you can't imagine a well-traveled and educated, not even education does not mean going to school, so don't get me wrong, but you cannot imagine somebody who is exposed, an exposed filmmaker who has interacted with other international filmmakers, coming out to say um somebody paid you to write a negative review about me, or because they understand that reviews are not supposed to always be in your favor. I reserve the opinion to say, oh, I like this movie, and I also reserve the opinion to say I don't like this movie. That doesn't mean that I have something personal against you, or I try to audition for a role in any of your nasty ass films, and and because of that I have something personal against you.
Okay. All right. It's surprising that in 2021 we're still having this kind of conversation, because I know we had this drama with Omoni Oboli and co in the past. I remember Shegun Odejiri and the whole drama anyway, but it's still surprising that we're having this conversation in 2021. However, let's talk about little lessons that we can pick from the movie, because I don't know how many they are really. Um, in terms of us as Nigerians, so on the TV show that I'm part of on Wednesday, no, on Tuesday, we're talking about public sector and corrupt practices, and how, yes, we're talking about the government and what they do, but also when you come to the grassroots and civil service and all that, we all have the mindset of, or we've gotten to that point where we believe that we have to bribe and do things to just move on, especially when there are bottlenecks as well, to ensure that even when you want to go through it the right way, it's almost impossible for it to happen, right? So I'm taking this back to Sola Sobowale's character as well, and how she was adamant, even with all the explanations on television and conversation on how dangerous the situation is, she still wanted to bribe the law enforcement person in order to bring out her son-in-law for a wedding that, of course, if he had attended it and he was exposed, there is a potential of killing millions of people from there. So why do we have this mindset of always wanting to have our way, regardless of what the consequences is, as long as we can throw money around or we have a bit of connection? I want Eniola to start on this one.
It's because of the country we're in largely. I mean, I think it's a global thing. Money corrupts, and people use money to get their way. It's more pronounced in Africa and even more pronounced in Nigeria. We celebrate money, wealth, affluence, all those things, and the things that they bring. So people that have money or have resources feel like they can get away with anything, or that they can get anything they want. So Sola Sobowale's character really did typify the mindset of corrupt individuals or people who are used to bribing or paying for anything that they want or anything that they need. So yeah, it's because they have the money to do so, and they've seen everything shows that lots of people are ready to collect money and do almost anything. Money can buy almost anything. To bend the rules or to do the worst of things, especially in a country like Nigeria. So we're in an environment where cash is king, unfortunately. And the people who should be trying to reverse that mindset or correct that mindset, largely the government who has the capacity to do so, they don't do so, and they are to a great extent even complicit. So cash is king in this part of the world, unfortunately.
That's sad. But Precious, I know. Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
So I wanted to say that I know. I mean, you grew up here, and you know what our drama is, and now you're in the UK, and I'm also assuming that you've also had to go through. You've also had to go through some of the processes over there, and you can see the difference, right? What would you say? I mean, if you can, what would you say is that one thing that is that differentiator? And if ever possible, how can we begin to retrace our steps back home?
I don't think retracing our steps is something that is going to be very easy to do. But I think one of the things I learned here is that there isn't this craze to influence things. You really have to follow order, right? So the system is built in such a way that order is important, and there's nobody standing by the door holding pankere for you to follow order. People just follow order, whether someone is watching or someone isn't, because actually people are watching. Do you understand? So I think it's a part of our culture. We have different cultures in Nigeria, and the culture sort of kind of influences the way that we do things, how we relate to things, i.e. the Igbo culture, which I know for a fact is that money is king. For the average Igbo man, money is king. So he's very entrepreneurial. He's very keen on amassing wealth to sort of show off to his family, or if not showing off, to sort of help his kinsmen. So when you have a culture that praises or
places more value on money,
places a lot of value on money, you see that some people will not think of the value of hard work. Anything that will give them that end goal of money, they will try to pursue it. So when you have that, it's really difficult changing the mindset of millions of people. It's going to take a while. But back to lockdown, I think we are tired. Maybe a lot of people are not tired, but I am tired of having shallow characters that you cannot really discuss. So you can't pick up in recent times. I can't think of any character that I found so intriguing or multidimensional that I can say, oh, I can pick up this character and do like have an actual discourse on the character. So i.e. the Sola Sobowale character. You see that I don't understand it. Maybe there are people like that, but your rich. You can see the news. If not Sola Sobowale, at least the daughter. So that conflict that they tried to build there was half convincing, because if the mother isn't educated enough to know when to stop pushing, at least the daughter, who they have obviously spent some money on refining, should understand that there is a life and death situation, and your personal feelings and emotions should be prioritized. So that conflict was half mass for me. In fact, below par. In fact, the message of the film was quite. In fact, it was just for the average mind.
What is going to happen to everybody that flew from America, from Japan, from Afghanistan, from Kenya, from Tony?
So if we're going to rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 10, please let Eniola start. What would you rate it and why in a minute?
I'd give it if I take away like the production flaws, if they tidied it up. But anyway, as it is, I can't take it away. As it is, I'd give it maybe a 5.5. I'm tempted. I wish I could give it a 6, but let me give it a 5.5. I think it was original. I liked the way they used a group of people. I liked Tony Umez's performance. It was very relatable. I liked
Yes.
Omotola's performance as well. And then, I mean, I really just want to give them kudos for actually pulling. I mean, this film was still in the thing, and they made a movie while we're in the thing, which has come out. And I don't think that's
Eniola, I
easy.
don't know why you're giving them kudos for when they decided to shoot a movie that they are making money from.
Guy,
I don't understand. Who sent them to shoot
They
them?
even
Chose
people
it.
were
the
filming.
point is-
People were filming in the lockdown. I hope you know that.
I know.
People filmed in the
But it
lockdown,
wasn't
and don't mind
easy.
all those trash they were saying about we were doing protective gear, we were testing. If there are 10 filmmakers who filmed during the lockdown, only 2 practice safety measures. I tried
And
to
that's the truth
investigate.
because I
I tried to
interviewed
investigate,
some of the
and they
actors and they
wouldn't
said
even
they were
let
on their
me.
own.
They won't let me come on their sets.
Okay.
So leave those people.
So yeah, 5.5 over 10.
Okay, cool. 5.5. Okay, that's not bad. Precious.
They should just manage 3 because because of the performance. So just like Eniola said, Tony Umez gave a wonderful performance, and this is the first time I'm seeing him since the 2000s. So seeing him in this role also it just gave me the same feeling that Omotola's performance gave me as well. So Omotola, there were a lot of really good performances all around. Although some were sometimes exaggerated, but I'll give the performance a solid 3, as in solid, very solid 3. The rest, I dash you people.
Oh my god.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you agree with us, do let us know, and if you do not agree, also let us know. You can also recommend movies for us to review by dropping a comment or reaching out to me via social media. My handles are in the description box below, and of course it's been actually showing on the screen all the while at Elsieisy, ELSIEISY. So reach out to me, recommend the movie, and of course we'll see what we can do about that. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, this is the next best time to do so. Kindly hit the subscribe button below and also hit the bell button so you get notified each time there is a new content. My name is Emem Inwang. Do take care of yourself.